All right, so I've arrived here to Untap, and we're gonna go inside and find our man Brandon. Hey, how are we?
Hudson, so nice to see you.
You too. How's it going? Long time no see.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Thanks.
So, what has it been like finding your target market? Obviously, it's
That's a great question. So parents are the ones who generally find us. We work with middle school, high school, and college kids. Sometimes college kids will find us on their own. But yeah, so it's kind of double because when a kid walks in, we want them to know like this is different. So the parent originally finds us, but the kid has to agree to the mentorship. So yeah, it's kind of both. It's target market. Our homework center. Behind the scenes, we call this our accountability room. We do everything through the Navy SEAL mentality, discipline equals freedom. On top of that, if our kids don't take care of business, we hold them accountable. So this is also our accountability room. So we're gonna make sure that that ADHD avalanche does not happen and they fall behind. And so we wanna make sure that they get their support, and this is kind of room for
absolutely. And how many kids on average have they found have ADHD?
only 30% of our kids have ADHD. We see a lot of kids, like I said, from those other populations, and some kids just are very busy, take a lot of AP classes. In that capacity, a lot of study sessions we do on the ping pong table, so you can kind of see how this works. It's also a great way to build a relationship too.
What would a study session on the ping pong table be like?
Great question. So, I mean, if you have vocabulary note cards, I would just have my note cards right here, and let me feed them to you while we're studying. You know, something about that movement and motion. It makes, first of all, makes studying a lot more fun. You can do it for a lot longer, but it also kind of gets you in like this hypnotic like mood.
Yeah. Why don't we talk just kind of like the history of Untapped, how it started, and then where it is today, and the values that you carry with it.
Yeah, definitely. So, I know you're possibly an entrepreneur here coming up. I never viewed myself as that. It was just something that while I was teaching special education, I was really dissatisfied with the services that I got growing up and that my kids got growing up. I truly believe ADHD and a lot of these other challenges like dyslexia, I truly believe that the fact that your brain works differently is a huge gift. However, if you don't discipline your gift, it eats you up very quickly. So I selfishly created something that I wanted.
What kind of values have you wanted to instill in your students from kind of the beginning as they've started working with you?
Yeah, so one thing that makes us unique, I think, is that besides having like a football field, but one thing that makes us unique is we actually don't want to hold on to our customers for too long. We want to give them the skills to be successful and then send them on their way. That's great, and that also creates a lot of challenges as a business. But yeah, the main value is we want you to be independent. We want you to give you these skills to be independent so you can be a functioning person as well, and you can hit whatever goals you want to hit.
Speaking of hitting goals, do you think you've found your product fit in the last 3 years of working with Untapped?
Got a piece of turf from Home Depot and put it next to an office 3.5 years ago. And then it just kind of blew up. And so we see over 200 kids now in Boulder County. We just expanded to Centennial. So I didn't see this coming, but I think we did.
You've now opened Centennial and partnered with the Y is what you're telling me. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, for our kids, what we're doing is we're working with the YMCA in Boulder. We have a classroom there, and then we give the kids services and then the family and the kid a YMCA membership. Because again, exercise is the miracle drug for our kids.
You hear that? Exercise. Stay fit. So, kind of, how do you plan to keep this going? Obviously, you've started growing pretty quickly the last 3 years, but where do you see yourself in 10? And
however, the goal is to help as many kids as possible. So, we're learning how to run multiple centers, which is more of a challenge than I thought. It's like if you have 2 kids, it's more like it feels like you have 10 kids, right? It's a lot more. But once we get our systems and everything down, we would love to help kids all across the country. And I'm not sure what that looks like yet, but turns out there's a lot of kids out there like I was.
Well, thank you very much, Brendan, and I appreciate you giving me your time, and I will now get out of your hair.
Thank you. I'm a huge fan.
Sweet. When creating a persona for Untapped, we have to look at 2 individuals. The way that we do that is by looking at a mother and a son. So we have a son who's in 7th grade named Chris who has ADHD. His classes have been snowballing a little bit. He's been falling behind, and though he's very bright, he's not applying himself is what it seems like. For Jen, she is a 42-year-old mother. She is a mother of 3. Chris is the oldest. Both her and her husband went to the University of Denver. Her husband now works and she's a stay-at-home mom. Many of Jen's fears and challenges that she deals with come from her children and wanting to make sure that they have the best life possible and become the best humans that they could possibly be, which for any mother is a lot of stress. Some of the values that Jen carries with her are the health and well-being of her family, making sure that she raises honest and loyal children, as well as instilling hard work ethic in them. And that's our idea of Jen and Chris. Where Untapped can make a change for Jen and Chris is for Chris, they can help him organize, schedule, feel better about himself, build self-esteem, and become more successful in school. For Jen, it's about taking off the weight on the shoulders of worrying about your kid. In regards to Pastel, politically, there fortunately is not much of an effect, economic and social. I think going forward, they've already began to make great decisions by partnering with the Y, which was talked about earlier in the decision, in order to hopefully have their services be of use to lower income families. Technology, they're innovating software in home to create a better learning experience for their students. Environmental, they try to have as best as an environmental impact as possible, but however, that is a challenge with the amount of paper that they use, so that will be something they work on. And lastly, legal, which fortunately is not much of an issue. Thank you for watching. That has been my target market research on Untapped Learning, and I don't wear sunglasses inside. I just didn't want you to see my eyes moving. Thanks.